Welcome to A New Earth, Awakening to Your Life's Purpose, a worldwide web event. Welcome, everybody, to week number 4 of our New Earth web class. Thank you again for joining us as we come together to study and to discuss our 61st book club selection, Eckhart Tolle's A New Earth. I am just so happy that so many of you around the world are making time. You're giving time to yourself every week to be awakened, and we're all doing this together. It is really my deepest hope that our collective consciousness will begin to create a powerful transformation, not only in our individual lives, but in the future of our planet. So welcome to you all, and welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Yes. A good week for you?
Yes, very good, thanks.
Very good. Yeah. So let's do what we've now started as a tradition.
A moment of silence.
Yes.
And the question is where to put our attention. And this time I suggest we put our attention into the feeling of aliveness within what I call the inner body, to feel that there's actually life inside your hands. A good place to start is always with the hands, to feel, yes, I can feel somehow that there is an aliveness in here. The cells are alive. And that's the beginning of being able to feel the entire inner body, the energy field, as a global sense of aliveness. And just put our attention there rather than have it in the head. Mm-hmm. And then we can enter actual stillness, because stillness doesn't happen until the mind becomes still. Usually the mind doesn't stop until you take attention away from it and put it somewhere else. So we are putting attention into the body. And so we can go into stillness just for half a minute or so.
Thank you. Let us begin here on chapter 4, which is a very long chapter.
Yes.
When you wrote this, you must have been at it for a while.
Yes, and in a way it reflects all the main themes in the book that are actually already contained in that chapter.
Yes. The chapter is called Role-Playing, the Many Faces of the Ego. So before we really begin, I'd like to take a moment and talk about one of the most frequently asked questions that we receive by far. So many people who are committed to the book and becoming aware of a new way of thinking, a new way of consciousness, want to know how they can relate to people in their lives who are not yet on this path and don't think they need to be. Sometimes it's a coworker or a friend or even a spouse, you all have said to us on many of your emails, and it can feel very divisive. And we got an email from a gentleman who says, listen, my wife isn't interested in this. I don't know what's gonna happen to our relationship. So that question actually came up as one of the last questions from Qatar, the very first session that we had. But it's an ongoing question that a lot of people, the more they become engaged in the book, are feeling and wanted your response to.
Yes. The main thing is that the shift can only happen inside you. So not to expect other people to also change, or to expect or say, I cannot change unless somebody close to me also changes. The main thing is to take responsibility for your own state of consciousness and allow other people, especially people that you are close to be where they are, not to demand that because something is happening inside you and you are beginning to change, not to demand that others should also change. Change does not come about in others by trying to make them change. The most powerful way of bringing about change in others is not trying to bring about change in the other, but to completely accept the other as he or she is. So that is absolutely vital. There are even schools of psychotherapy that recognize that. So you give the other person complete acceptance. And that's part of this change that's happening in us, is that we step out of the judgmental mind that continuously judges the other. So we step out of that, and if we step out of the judgmental mind, we are able to simply accept your partner, a close friend, a family member, a relative. This is where they are at right now. They are still going through their old behavior patterns. What has changed is you are no longer resisting their pattern and reacting to, and by reacting, reinforcing their pattern.
That's right, that's right.
So you're not taking part in that game anymore.
So part of your change has to be your willingness not to judge, you know, to sit back and to be an observer in your own life, and then to more clearly see the ego in others as you also see it in yourself.
Yes.
Don't judge it.
No.
And just know that that's what it is.
Yes, and don't mistake what you're observing, the behavior that people manifest.
As them.
That's not who they are.
Hey.
And that's a vital distinction, because if you mistake that for who they are, then you will perpetuate that kind of behavior. So that's not, it won't work. Acceptance is vital, acceptance.
And isn't it sort of like, I mean, all of you who've asked that question, it's kind of like when people join the church or are, quote, born again, or, you know, we've heard about being born again in the church, or you find Jesus, or you find Buddha, or you discover a new way of being for yourself, and now you want everybody to go to Jesus.
Yes.
And you want everybody to believe what you believe.
Yes.
That is part of your ego that now wants people to believe what you believe.
Yes. And so that's a trap one can fall into, even with this teaching, which isn't really based on belief at all. So it's not a new belief. We're not trying to find some new belief. It's going beyond the thinking mind into awareness. But there is always the danger when you discover something new that you want to talk about it. You want to share it with everybody. Others.
Well, that's how we ended up with this webcast, because I wanted to share it with other people.
And sometimes it works, because sometimes the other person is totally ready and receptive and say, wow, I'd never realized that. But they recognize it from within because the readiness is there.
Right.
But the readiness is not there in everybody. So some people buy copies of the New Earth or the Power of Now for their friends or relatives and then give them out. And sometimes they are disappointed when the other person says, doesn't make sense to me at all.
Doesn't make sense to me,
It means they're not yet ready, and that's fine. Maybe they put it on the shelf and maybe 10 years later they're ready. It's quite possible.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So now for class number, I wanted to get that question out because it comes up over and over and over again on our message board.